chilled out Sunday, catching up on some editing and whatnot. It's turned out into shooting a couple of GTRs. See how this turns out. So, things have just got a little bit more hectic. I'll take this down now. Saw a lad we met the other week when I was filming the nude B-roll. He was flying around a car park in his RS3, popping and banging as you do. And yeah, saw him. It's like, on a shoot, you fancy coming along? He's like, yeah, why not? So we've got an RS3 and 2 GTRs. So the full crew is here. We have an RS3 8V pre-facelift, an R32 GTR, and I've just been informed we've got a Litchfield stage 4.5 R35 GTR as well. Running a little bit late, so the light's gone, so we've missed sunset. It's a good job I weren't filming then, isn't it? Oh, this is a very nice jacket. Okay, so we've made a game plan. We'll talk about it in a minute when the cars come around the corner. Hopefully this idea turns out alright, but we shall see. Won't we, Jamie? We shall. We shall see. Yeah, back in shooting the city centre again. Not that we ain't done this to death. Let's shoot some more. Right, cars are parked up. This is the idea. Both the cars next to each other. R35 lights is a prominent feature, just next to the R32. Probably going to switch it up a little bit as well. Maybe move them out here, do it in this big area. But yeah, with a big tall building in the background, cars next to each other. That's as far as I've thought ahead. Switching to Osmo action now. Right, so ISO 1600. About just center focusing. Robbie, can you stick your foot on the brake? Put your brake like, yeah, there we go. Whoa, Jesus Christ, Fenton. I mean, stick your headlights on, mate. Stick your headlights on. There we go. There we go. See if any of these in focus. Yeah, kind of. Got a crowd now. Do you reckon these are the same people from last week, Jamie? Oh, Chesa! But he was so happy, he was. He was so happy. Oh, I'm in the light, I'm in the light, I'm in the light. Prepared as always, Jamie. I like it, mate. Yeah, maybe. Whoa! Brake lights! There you go. You stick your side lights on, Robbie. Oh, is that it? So these are the side lights? Oh, is that it? Ah. Yeah, leave them on. Oh, fuck.
Oh yeah, we'll change colour.
Just taking a photo of your glass dildo, mate. Full focus on something, please. Nice. Stay there, mate. Stay right there. I'm coming in. Nice, nice. Bum, bum, bum. Get out of the way, I'm in a shadow here. You're in my light. There you go, there you go. It's a bit dark, isn't it? Hey? You want a picture of me featuring it? Just fake it. Pictureception. What again? Oh, you got it?
I don't know what it's about this spot now, it's just kind of...
I hate it.
Boring.
It is boring.
What's it like up there?
It's alright, mate. It's a different vantage point.
See whether
In Spoon's toilets. Don't know about that, mate.
Japanese on it. Don't put tables.
No. Choke slam you through them. Don't go on them table. Yeah, but it's still not stock. It's so loud. It is ridiculously loud. Right, so we're heading to another location. We're going to shoot an underground car park now. We've got everything once they get here. We've also decided we've shot here far too much and we want something a little bit wider. This is a little bit too compressed. It's a nice leading line leading into the cars and obviously skyline in the background. We just want something a little bit wider so we can get a little bit more depth with the cars themselves. So we're shooting like across the rear of the R35, get a bit more depth to the front of the R32 and vice versa. Talk more about it when we get to the location.
That sounds insane. Give a turbo whistle.
I think we're going to get kicked out here very soon. That is so loud. Ow, my ears. Woof. So after that little bit of excitement, we've actually come up with a plan.
So R35 is going to come in here, drive through this gap, drive towards me, and then the R32 is going to do a loop, come round, drive through this gap facing forward, like here sort of.
We'll see how that looks, see how it turns out, change it accordingly if we need to. Okay, after some testing and adjusting, we've finally got to this sort of setup. Yeah, we put the R35, shut up, put the R35 in front, and then we realised that it looked massive compared to the R32, so we kind of swapped them round and ended up that.
The whole idea is to create some depth between the cars when we're shooting at different angles, which you'll see in the photos. Just moving the RS3 now because it's kind of in the way.
I've cut the POV short and left it there just because the second location is more the same sort of stuff as me walking around two skylines. So what we're going to do instead is a walkthrough talk through of the edit on my favourite photo from the entire shoot, and on the back of that I'm going to slap on some more photos from the second location for you lot to have a look at. The photo is actually the photo that me and Jamie was talking about and planning, as you saw in the video. I was putting the R32 there and the R35 there. After a few tweaks, this is what we actually came up with, and this is pretty much what I envisioned when we was talking through it. And this photo was shot 1/500th of a second at f2 at ISO 1600, and this is what it looked like before, and this is what it looked like after. So not a huge dramatic change in terms of colours, but just how much the cars now stand out and how your eye is naturally drawn straight towards them. It did take quite a lot of work, as you can see on the left here. I went through a lot of processes to get it to where it is now. The first thing I wanted to do is create a base edit, which I used across the entire set just to keep that consistency in the colours. And use my preset called Garage Girl, which is built on these kinds of photos, like the grungy urban looks. In this instance, the temperature is absolutely way off, which is one of the first things we addressed. So yeah, so all these settings I'm going to skip over is just getting the photo to a point where I think the selective edits start to make the most impact. So all I'm changing here is like the whites, the blacks, exposure, contrast, clarity, saturation, those kinds of vibes. Messing with the colours as well a little bit, adding a bit more red in and taking a little bit of orange out, as well as taking yellows out. I cropped it 16:9 for the thumbnail, and as you'll see throughout the settings on the left here, I messed with the crop angle so many times just so I couldn't get it right. And at this point here is where I started adding in the radial filters to start drawing all the attention to the cars themselves. So basically this one is faking a vignette with a radial filter by darkening the background and taking out some clarity, so giving it a little bit of a fake depth of field. Again, messing with the crop. And then these ones are moving on to car only. So updating exposure, contrast, clarity, black shadows and highlights, especially those in the R35. Again, if we click through these, you'll start to see it change just ever so slightly, but it all adds up. Change the temperature again just to get that to exactly where I wanted it. And then these brush strokes are the ones on the windscreens themselves. As you see in the R35, it's got a weird green tint to it, which I don't like. And the R32 has no tint to it whatsoever, as being an old car. The windscreens are just clear as day and you can see straight through them. So I'll just click through these and you'll see them start to change. There's the R35 changing, a little bit darker and a little bit more of a neutral colour. And then the R32, I'll just click through these, goes to more of a darker look, which is what I prefer, and I think it looks a lot better in car photos if you darken out the windscreen if you can. And then moving on up to split toning. So this is this down here. We've got little color wheels. So I made the shadows a little bit more blue and changed the luminosity, which is this little slider here. Moving on up. All these brush strokes are brush strokes on the cars themselves. So as you just saw in that one, The front of the R32 was slightly darker in this area, so I just brushed over that area, reduced some of the shadows, just so the car looked like it was all of one exposure and there wasn't a really dark area compared to a really bright area, as in the rear of it here, obviously the light was there. Same again with the R35. That was all this area, so I reduced the shadows in there so the car looked all of one same colour, and there was no, like I said, really dark parts compared to really bright parts, so it was all one, if that makes sense. That makes sense to me. And then just tidying everything up, change the temperature loads again, and one final crop angle adjustment to get it to where it is now, and then exported to the hard drive, and then that's the final image as you've already seen. And yes, I think that pretty much wraps up this video. If you've liked it, please hit that like button, or if I've taught you something new, let me know in the comments which is your favourite from the entire shoot. I'm going to add on some photos from the second location after this, so stick around for those before you make your choice. And as always, please subscribe to this channel if you want to support it, and I'll see you lot in the next one.